It's early morning, and I'm on my way to Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan to visit with the Norsask Forest Products team. Norsask, which is fully owned by the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, is one of 3 sawmilling operations in Saskatchewan and the largest Indigenous-owned forest products company in Canada. The sawmill produces about 140 million board feet per year, which is enough for around 9,000 houses. I'm quite excited because not only do I get to go visit the new bioenergy facility developed and owned by the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, but this is a bioenergy success story in the province where I grew up. I hope you'll join me for another thrilling episode of Dr. Jam's Jam. I'm here to meet up with Tina from the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, but she told me there's something here called a beehive burner. Good thing I came prepared. Don't want to make those bees angry. Hi, Tina!
Hey, Jamie.
Thanks so much for the invitation. I'm super excited to learn about the Norsask operation.
Absolutely. We're very happy to have you. But I have a bit of a question around your beehive suit.
Well, you said that you still have a beehive burner, and well, I had to come protected, obviously.
This is an industrial sawmilling facility. That's the beehive burner, and it gets its name by the shape of the burner. We don't actually burn beehives here.
Oh. I thought you made lumber here. Why are you burning anything?
Well, when you're producing a square product out of a round tree, there's probably 25 to 28% of it that ends up as waste. So all of your sawdust, your bark, a certain amount of chips. Some of our chips go across the highway to feed the pulp mill. But those waste products that currently don't have a home or didn't have a home in the past were burnt in this beehive facility.
But why don't you turn that into high-value products?
Well, we are. We're turning it into high-value product by producing electricity in our bioenergy facility. This sawmill produces about 56,000 tons of waste. That 56,000 tons of waste actually gets taken over to the bioenergy facility, which you're going to get a little tour of in a bit. And there it's burnt and turned into electricity that feeds our provincial grid.
So you're making studs and lumber here. I'd love to learn more about the sawmill.
We produce stud lumber that's used in the housing industry, and we'd be very happy to show that to you. I'm going to hand you off to Jeremy Norman, our Director of Operations, and he'll take you through a tour of the sawmill.
You must be Jeremy.
Jeremy, yes, Jamie. Nice to meet you.
You too. This is quite the operation you got here. This is the Norsask sawmill?
This is Norsask Sawmill, owned by 9 communities that make up the Meadow Lake Tribal Council. We're very proud of this facility. The Meadow Lake Tribal Council leaders of the day understood that forestry was a big part of the economy in our area.
So in this region, forest products is the main part of the economy?
Well, for sure, every community surrounded by trees. We're not rich in oil and gas, we're rich within our trees.
So why does sawmill produce so many residues?
The sawmill produces a lot of different residues, starting with the debarker. You know, you're peeling the bark off the tree, so you got a residue there. And it's going through the blades. You got a lot of sawdust there. And then after you're through the blade, you got a lot of leftover pieces because the tree is round. the 2x4, 2x6 are rectangle. So you got a little bit of residue on the sides. And then when you're planing that board, making it the finished product, smoothing it out, we get a lot of sawdust residue off that as well.
So I guess you need markets for all those residues.
That's correct. We definitely would like full utilization of the tree. We do have a market for our wood chips. The rest, though, there is really no market for it. And that was an issue for us, and seeing it just being burnt in the air was an issue and led us down the path of biomass.
Hi, Tina.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
I'm great. What a great tour. Thanks for setting that up. But now I want to learn about the Bioenergy Center. So how does it all work?
Well, when you were in the sawmill, you were able to see where the waste product comes from. So all of the waste that comes off of those trees ends up in the grinder. From the grinder, it's transported all the way up through here into this very large storage facility. From this storage facility, it's basically moved through to the thermal oil plant. The thermal oil plant combusts all of that waste product, all of that wood waste, creating heat. When that heat warms a thermal oil, the thermal oil passes through the system. You can see there that it goes across to a building that we call the ORC, which houses our organic Rankine system. Inside of that, the hot oil excites materials, creates a movement in a generator, and then from there creates electricity, and electricity passes out and goes into provincial power grid.
So you're sending power to the grid for everybody in Saskatchewan.
Absolutely, and just by size comparison, we feed them about 6.6 megawatts of electricity, which is enough baseload power to power about 5,000 homes on a continuous basis.
Incredible. So, and I understand that you're also producing heat for the kilns.
Yes, absolutely. So Dorsas Forest Product ran for many, many years with 4 natural gas lumber drying kilns. With the addition of this facility, we were able to remove 2 of those natural gas kilns and replace with a continuous drying kiln that runs off the electricity and the waste heat from this facility. So completely net zero as far as carbon production.
So since biomass is stored solar energy, it's almost like a solar battery.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is, because I mean, you're still running off the basis of a net zero, non-carbon producing. It's actually a carbon sequestration product, right? So we're considered a net zero project.
How does installation of the bioenergy facility, how does that change the air pollution from the site?
It has changed it dramatically for the 100 and some people that work on this site. Everything from the smell, obviously, of constant combustion of materials in the open fire that you saw with the beehive burner. But the other piece was the materials that also went up out of the beehive burner, which was the excess sawdust. All those materials that were just ending up in our vehicles, you know, constantly changing air filtration in your car because it was covered in sawdust or soot from such a large open fire.
Vice Chief DeRoche, thank you for meeting with me.
Thanks, Jamie. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Wonderful. So I understand that you have been a critical force of moving the bioenergy project forward and getting it developed.
Well, we've been thinking about it for a long time. The Metal Lake Tribal Council have been thinking of it for over 20 years. The chiefs at the time, when we bought the mill, looking at the best efficiency of the mill, plus how do we cover our tracks in the forestry industry and best utilize that log that we bring in. Traditionally, as First Nations people, that's our job, to be stewards of the land. And if we can help out in any way, we're going to try to help out. And if we can get a little bit of economy off it too, because we definitely need economy in Northwest Saskatchewan in our 9 communities, you know, we're up for the game.
So some people will say, how does land stewardship fit with a sawmilling operation and a bioenergy plant? How are those two consistent?
The key point on the sawmill is we manage the forest. Through our company, we own 50% of is Mystic Management, who manages the entire lease of all the forests that we have. And if we didn't have control, I don't think we would be doing what we're doing, because we get to control how we forest. We get to control what's harvested, what time of year, what areas are harvested. We go into the communities and we ask the communities, okay, what's the stay away zones here? You know, what's the moose calving zone? What's the traditional eagle nesting zone? You know, things like that. We go into the communities through Mystic Management and ask those questions, and that's how we determine where we cut.
So I understand this is a really important employer in the region. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. You know, we're really proud of our employment in the whole community of the surrounding area of Meadow Lake in Northwest Saskatchewan. 72% of the employees of North Sask is Indigenous, which we're very proud of. Only 6 years ago, we were in the 20%, and we've increased that to 72% over the last 6 years, and we're very proud of that because we want to be part of the economy. You know, we want to be part of fabric of Saskatchewan, and that's utilizing the opportunities that we have, getting our young people and young Indigenous people into jobs such as this, into the bush, starting their own companies. That's what we want to see. The less people we have on income assistance, the more families we have, and the more kids that see mom and dad going to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, the more kids that are going to be doing the same thing. And that's how we rate our success here.
With the Bioenergy Center, the Meadow Lake Tribal Council has accomplished its goal of ensuring that all parts of the tree have value. It's important to understand that if we want to turn this into the lumber that everybody demands for affordable housing, we can't do so without producing this, biomass. And the best use of it is for bioenergy. The Meadow Lake Tribal Council Bioenergy Center provides a great example of how we can ensure that our forest resources are contributing to decarbonization of our building sector and the energy system. From Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, this is Dr. Jam signing off. I'll see you next time.